Hello and welcome to Tabletop 24, and thank you for joining us for another unboxing. This is essentially a two-part unboxing, and this is the second part. You may have already seen on the channel our unboxing of the Arkham Horror the card game Edge of the Earth Investigators expansion, and then what we have today is the campaign expansion. Now these two are independent of each other. You can purchase either of them and get going as long as you've got the starter set for Arkham Horror the card game. This is a deviation upon Fantasy Flight's normal release method, as the campaign is all in one box, whereas previously it was in the blister packs that came out monthly. Now, for me, that's great because I was late to the game, so it means that I can have everything all in one place, whereas tracking down some of the older expansions has been proven quite difficult. We've still got a few of those outstanding. So I will get in here shortly, but what I will say is we're going to try and avoid as many spoilers as possible. So there may be a little bit of cut jumping in the edit, just in case there's something that we pick up on that we probably shouldn't have seen as we go through. So for the Edge of the Earth expansion, we are heading into Antarctica. And like I say, everything in here will be solely for this campaign. I do like Arkham Horror card game. I do like the Arkham Horror universe, but unfortunately, still not found the right amount of time to play the game as much. It is one that I want to cover on the channel at a later date, and probably shows videos of some of the playthroughs that we've had and through it. Now, it is obviously a punishing game, being in the Lovecraftian universe, but that's come to what we expect from the Arkham Horror genre. So let's get that out of the way. Now, one of the things I have seen a few postings of for in some of the media. Now, normally I stay away from spoilers and such, but I think this has cropped up a few times. It's actually this wire-bound book, which covers all the scenarios. Now, obviously, we'll flick through a couple of those quickly because they will potentially reveal some of the spoilers. So that's really nice. No more folding all the little pieces of paper, and actually everything stays in sort of one's place, and I think that's actually really quite nice. So it's quite handy, and it's all there. You can have that flipped out, folded over, depending upon your table size and what works for you personally. So we've got that there. As always, some marketing material for Unfathomable, also set in the Arkham Horror universe, and some of the reading material for books behind it. Now, it is an expansion. And with all of the big boxes from MFG when their card games are concerned, you do have a lot of space inside them, and this is obviously no exception. Now, you can put the Investigators pack in there as well. You have some more room for other scenarios and such. So we've got some punch board, and let's crack that open just quick. So for tokens in the game and additional tokens you may sort of require. So we'll get that open. I say we'll get this open. There we go. Relatively nice punch board. Being in Antarctica, I'm fairly sure these are going to be some sort of frost token as such that we can get there. So quite nice. And again, typical standard FFG thickness, good quality cardboard. So we're going to try and get some of these out and try and have a quick look at some of it. Like I say, we'll try and avoid spoilers where possible. And because this is purely the story version, it's going to be a bit of a challenge for us to avoid spoilers completely. So what I will say is, if you watched up to this point and you don't want any spoilers, I'd probably say just thank you for tuning in. If you want to stay with some spoilers and follow us through with some of the cards, then please carry on. And like I said, we'll try and avoid spoilers where possible. So I think this is going to be our encounter sets. So let's have a quick shifty through these. Yeah, these are quite clearly our encounter sets. So I'm going to pick some of these out just to pick up on. There we are. There's some weaknesses. Some characters. So we'll see there, as always, some of the nice boss artwork for the game. Quite clearly, I think there's tomes of Mansions of Madness, and sorry, Mountains of Madness, in the game for this one. So just going through these as we do. Like I say, at the moment, I've not got too many inklings into the storyline, and I like not to spoil those as we go. But I think it's fairly safe with some of these encounter decks, just so you know roughly what's coming, really. We've quite clearly got some nice beasties to be coming up against in the Antarctic. Now, what I would be interested to hear is anybody that does tune into the video, just to let us know what we reckon power creep wise is going to be on here. Am I going to need to be really prepared going into this, or is it a case that actually we could just go into it with some starter decks or some from the Investigations expansion? So yeah, I think looking at these as well, we're not just going to be facing the normal ghoulies and ghosties. We're going to have some people that are just going to go a bit mad on our expedition. So now, whilst some of the artwork is a little bit gory and stuff, you got to admit some of it is really nice. I'm going to go up to the big camera with that one, if we can get there, because of the green screen. So that is quite nice. Ethereal artwork. So this is really the torment in the mountains on some of the expedition crew, and some of our investigators as we go through. We've got some nice horrible penguins by the looks of it. Shoggoth. Polar Mirage. That's really nice. Dark Aurora. So to finish off those encounter decks. Now, I'm fairly sure that is going to be our sort of encounter decks throughout the whole scenario. So we'll put them to one side to come back to. And then we've got, and I'm not going to go through these too much, but these are obviously going to be companions that we'll pick up along our journey. And let's pick up the Guido there. Oh, so let's say Takada. Okay, so we've got some companions going to pick up there, and then we've got some weaknesses that I'm not afraid to show those ones for you. So different types of madness it looks like we're going to be facing as we go into the realms of the Antarctic. Possibly, I mean, maybe I'm just being a little bit naive here, but these are reused artwork with different color schemes. I mean, pretty as they are, and the arts on there is really nice. Maybe it's a bit of a reused. So also got some extra assets and specific items we'll probably pick up. So again, I'll try and avoid showing you the details on those, just in case we get spoilers, and also I don't want to spoil it completely for myself. So yeah, we'll do that. So I am going to crack these open again. I think I've said it too many times now, but let's try and avoid the spoilers as we go through. It is going to be quite hard to, but let's give it a go. So I'm going to say let's have a look in the good old new Wybound manual to see what is going to be our first scenario. So our first scenario is Ice and Death. So yeah, so Ice and Death is our first scenario. So this is not our first scenario. So let's come back to that one in a second. Ice and Death is our first scenario. So let's not fear ourselves too much and put that onto the expert side, but there you'll see what we're going to be getting up to with some of those. Okay, so we are going to be going to a crash site. a frozen shore, a treacherous path, a precarious ice sheet, broad snowdrifts, some icy wastes, some rocky crags, apologies, some snowy crags, the icebreaker landing, a frigid cave, barrier camp, remnants of Lakes camp, and a crystallized cavern. There's quite a lot of locations in this scenario. Like I say, I'm not going to be flipping those over just to refrain from spoilers, but as you will see through there, there's going to be quite a bit going on. Okay, and then we've got some treachery sets for the scenario, and we will have a cold welcome when we start off. Okay, that's there. Being tasked to search for a campsite. Okay, so I think that's very clear from all the bits that we're going to be having. There are 6 agendas in there, quite a few acts, and then we've got some encounters there that I've not seen before, and some of the camp's inhabitants, which may or may not have just seen from our characters, so possibly peeking up some of those. Let's see if I can completely and utterly cock this one up. Phantasmagoria. So again, like I say, some of the artwork in this, whilst some of it is chilling, this is actually no pun intended, but this is some really nice artwork. So I think that is all of Ice and Death, so I'll pop that in there. We've got Forbidden Peaks, and let's have a look at what our Act 1 for Forbidden Peaks is. So we will be ascending the mountain. Actually, I'm not going to give you too much on there, and these are all mountainsides and the summit that we're going to be going through on our adventures. And then whilst we're going on that adventure, we're going to be trying to avoid some snowfall. We've got some more items that we may or may not pick up as we go through. So that was Forbidden Peaks. Now let's just double check where that one probably was in the scenarios. So okay, it doesn't list it in the contents, so that's going to be quite interesting where that will actually come out. So let's try and see if we can go through in there. So Fateful Mirage, this looks to be our second scenario, so we're just going to wrap that open. It does state scenario question mark, so it could be that we pick this up. We'll be looking at an ethereal tangle, and Shadow of the Past. Will it be that we're going back into a time lapse of past events? It would Prison of Memories. I mean, that would kind of say that that's where we're going to end up, isn't it? So this is obviously a flashback scenario. Quite clearly some slightly older artwork on here, but again, lovely. I'll just show you obviously the last location, the Blackstone. A lot of these have got, not quite showing, but they've got the story on the backside. So, and then we've got the enemies for the scenario, which are memories of different types of events. Okay, and we've got an evanescent mist, anamnesis, there's a peril, and then we've got a couple of our companions that we've previously already seen. So I wonder how they're going to crop up as we go through that. Okay, so to the Forbidden Peaks was indeed our actual scenario 2. So that would come after Fatal Mirage, potentially, depending upon when that comes up, being the fact that it's got those question marks on it. Okay, I'll open that up a bit premature. Let's go to the City of the Elder Things, which should be our scenario 3. If we can get into it. Okay, so as always, there is always some lurking horrors. And we will be looking at the sprawling city. So there's different versions of this. I assume how we do in the campaign. Everything starts with a hidden tunnel leading to the city. So I'll be going through that. Lots of different city landscapes. So assumably we will be picking different paths as we go through the city. And then we've got some of the monsters that we'll be coming across. Some treachery. There we are. Dawning of the truth. Some of the horror as we go across all of this scenario. There's a truth dawn on this, it wasn't worth it after all. And what would it be in the Antarctic, in a cold destination without some frostbite? So weaknesses there that we will get. And we might well get possessed as we go through. Okay, so that's City of the Elder Things, which should be after the Endless Night. So that's the Endless Night is our interlude. Then we go into the City of Elder Things, and then we go into Final Night, which is our interlude, and then straight into the Heart of Madness, which is scenario 4. So the Heart of Madness, let's do that up there. Again, we will be trying to avert any spoilers, but at this point, if you're this far in, you're prepared to take it on board. A Gate of Yquire, I believe. Maybe not. And then an Ancient Facility. So we've got several copies of Ancient Facility, clearly with different things will go as we find through it into the heart. Primeval Terror. What be lurking in them there mountains? And that there city. So the agenda will be the beating heart of the mountain, potentially. And dormancy. We've just decided to crack on. That's pretty much what that says. More copies of the Ancient Facility. So maybe we're going deeper and deeper. And then we've got some of the treacheries and also more locations. So a mist pylon. And then we are into the Nameless Madness. So several copies of this, which I'm assuming is going to be picked up as we go through. And we'll be fighting through on those that will keep coming up and pestering us. So after you successfully evade or attack the Nameless Madness, for each point you succeeded by, exhaust the nearest ready copy of the Nameless Madness. Okay, so you're going to be fighting those off pretty much like a plague. And like I say, there are several copied of that. So the Unsealed Phantasm. So if we are unfortunate enough to let that become unsealed, then that is going to happen. Then we will have the Final Mirage and a Titanic Ramp. So climbing the location. And we're ending it off in that deck with a hidden tunnel. So where does that final hidden tunnel lead? Hopefully, we will find out at some point during our playthroughs. Like I say, we will try and get some of the playthroughs on the channel. That's probably going to be a 2022 thing. So if you follow along, please keep an eye out for that as we go through. But as always, lovely artwork from FFG and on the Arkham Horror series. Again, I'd like to say I can't wait, but it is going to be a 2022 thing that we're probably going to try and look at, getting some more content for this on the channel. But if you followed us through with all those spoilers, I say all those spoilers, potential spoilers, I'd like to thank you once again for joining us for this unboxing of the Arkham Horror, the card game Edge of the Earth campaign expansion from Fantasy Flight, the latest for Arkham Horror. So if you haven't done so already, check out the earlier video for Edge of the Earth Investigators expansion, or any of our other videos on the channel. And take care, and we'll catch you next time.